Peace to the family. So today in this installment of Brother Polight live on Facebook, I want to speak to you all about emotions and death. That's what I want to speak to you guys about. You know, as I have things on my mind, it makes for unique subject matter. At times I could vent my frustrations through my communication, and everybody wins. It's a win-win situation. So let me give you good brothers and sisters a word of advice about emotions and death. Don't succumb to it, okay? Don't get so overwhelmed by your emotions that everything has to be at a standstill. And men are guilty of it, women are guilty of it, but we're guilty of it in different ways. And that's what the problem is, okay? Men get overwhelmed, grow impatient, and we violently aggress situations in ways that may overwhelm sisters. Doesn't mean physically, it just means we may have a violent approach towards disagreeing that may overwhelm sisters. And generally speaking, not to say sisters don't deal with logic, because that's absolutely false. Sisters deal with a different type of logic on average, and that is because of the societal structure. So what does that mean? If you look at the societal structure, men are taught to behave a certain way and women are taught to behave a certain way. It's okay if the young man is a heartbreaker and he got all these different girlfriends, even his mama would say it. But the sister, if she just has 2 male friends, she's probably a freak. Okay, you see how that works? So what I'm saying is, the guys are more encouraged to be athletes, play with guns. The sisters get the strollers. So the guy would more likely be inclined to raise his gun before he raises his child. And the sisters get to pretend to be mothers while the brothers don't get to pretend to be fathers. They get to pretend to be gangbangers, criminals and gangsters, because that's normally how they portray themselves when they get those toy guns. Facts. So, back to the matters of logic. When I tell you that the sisters deal with a different brand of logic, that's not all women. But we do have to make generalizations sometimes to drive the point home. But believe me when I say I'm not talking about all women, I'm talking in terms of society, in terms of a lack of culture, a lack of cultural upbringing. You'll find that a lot of sisters are operating off an emotion that's void of using methodology. Things are not actually in order. All they need to know is that they're upset, and the brother should connect with the fact that they're upset. And the brother now, all he needs to know is she's not using no real methodology, and some of the order of what she's saying is so out of whack. You know, one thing is prerequisite to the other, and he can't take it. This ain't no beer, brother. Good try. I'm drinking roots. Good attempt. I'm drinking a lot of herbs, okay? I got fenugreek in here, stiff cock, mecha root, sarsaparilla, yohimbe bark, Siberian ginseng, raw moon, cayenne pepper, rose hip, dandelion, African strongback, blood leaf, African milkweed, katuba bark. Got a whole bunch of stuff in here. It's not exactly a sweet juice, but it'll be all right. So what I'm saying is, brothers do got to tap into the ability to connect with that which is not actually being said, but that which can be felt. And sisters got to take more time to see the order of events instead of realize how they feel impacted. Now, we're going to go to this. Emotions and death. That's what this conversation is about. Make sure you save this too. Emotions and death. We got to really build about these emotions and death. And this is what I want to tell everybody. First and foremost, live and direct. That's why I have to always tell my family, when I pass this physical form, do not, under no circumstances, have a sermon in the church. Do not, under no circumstances, have me inside of a church. I don't care if the Jesus is white. I don't care if the Jesus is black. I know my history, okay? I know what Igbo, Hausa, and Yoruba offset or created it, okay? I know your monotheistic religions, your three majors, being Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. I know they come from Yoruba, Hausa, and the Igbo cultures. I know this. This is why I always ask people, what was we doing prior to being introduced to those different types of religions? And then we have to know where Igbo, Yoruba, and Hausa springboarded from. But your Yoruba is your Islam. Your Igbo is your Hebrew Israelite doctrine or your Judaism. And your Hausa is your Christianity. And these are African archetypes of conception. These are African archetypes of conception. So you're not going to turn around and have me buried in a pale man's diluted version of the same. And I'm not. I can't have no cross in my casket. I can't have none of that. You know where I want y'all to congregate? Congregate in the cemetery. All I want is a tombstone made after an Ankh. Make my Ankh and put that on the tombstone and make the tombstone stylized as an Ankh. That's all you got to put the money into. I don't need all that other stuff. I don't need the repass. I don't need none of that. I don't need none of that. I can't stomach being part of anything like that. I did it once in my life. Out of love. And I don't regret it. It was out of love. But for me, I'm glad. It was a great experience, so I could tell y'all, don't bury me under no white supremacist structure. I don't want it. Don't send me off under those conditions. I'm not part of it. And nobody wants to talk about their transition, but I got to talk about mine because I've been really doing some thinking, and I know for sure what I need to do is make sure my family loves me enough to not celebrate me under false pretense. I ain't going to have a bunch of conscious people sitting there while the lying pastor go up there and play games. And whether he's lying consciously or unconsciously, I ain't about to be sent off like that. So all of y'all make sure. This is a fact. For as long as we all are in this existence, should I go before you? Make sure everyone knows it's against my best wishes for me to be dealt with under any church orientation. We just got to get it in at the cemetery, and my tombstone got to be made after an Ankh, or an Ankh got to be on it. And I'd be good. Because really and truly, I'd rather have my ashes spread. I'd rather have my ashes spread. And you feel me? I'd rather have my ashes spread in the sea. Anywhere that slave trade took place with my people, you could spread me out over there, or you could spread my ashes in Nigeria. You could spread my ashes right in Nigeria. I'd be good money all the same. So you got several options. You could drop my ashes anywhere in that slave trade route in the water, or you could spread my ashes somewhere in Nigeria. Logos, especially, but my family could choose. Or I could have that tombstone made after an Ankh. That's what I'm about. That's what type of time I'm on, family. So let's get that out the way. I ain't about to give them life, because that's when my life commences. So I'm not about to keep giving life to other cultures. I ain't about to do that. We give life to their demons. We give life to their devils. We give life to their false god. Every time we send our living off, because that's not our dead. We sending our living off. This is death. This is death. We send the living off under those pretenses, and we give life to a lie. So I don't want to be giving life to a lie. It has to stop, people. We got to make this stuff simple. And guess what? It'll be inexpensive for the family. We can make this thing real inexpensive for the family. We don't have to spend thousands of dollars on a lie. We don't really have to do that. We don't have to spend G's on the greatest story ever told. And nobody don't speak the language of the scriptures. Ain't nobody in the church speak Greek, and ain't nobody in the church speak Hebrew. We just going along with the damn story out of ignorance. Dressing people up better than they've dressed in their living.
Brother Polight, big up yourself.
How you doing, sister? Thanks for listening. Yeah.
Listen to you all the time, man.
Thank you so much, sis.
You gotta update that app.
I definitely will. I definitely am.
Right.
Thank you, sister. Yeah, so we gotta stop giving life to a lie. That's important. And that's how we stop it. Because if we stop giving life to the lie, people stop believing it. The main reason you believe in that crap is because we send our family off in it. So it stamps an impression in our brain when we send our family off like that. We stop giving life to the lie, and we get as close to our ritual as possible. Even if we ain't fully organized, we don't have to get sent off like that. We're not fully organized. We could get the ankh on the tombstone and say everybody congregate at the burial ground. And what we're asking is that the church have no say in the matter. That's what I'm saying. Like, yo, say your positive stuff, but this will not be in no name of Jesus and no name of God business. We ain't doing that. We going in our comedic science bag. That's what we doing. We dealing with Asar or Usir. We dealing with As or Aset. Okay? We dealing with Jehuti. You walking with me? Give me the name of the principles that exist. Let's talk about my At on my way out and talk about the scales of balance. Let's talk about that bag around my heart called the pericardium that looks just like the headdress of Usir, which is where that headdress depicts. Thank you, lyrics. I appreciate the violent love. My man said he put in pain if he found out somebody did something towards me, man. Thank you so much, my brother. Yeah, let's talk about Anupu or Anubis. Let's do that. That's what I'm talking about. And you know, this point is hard to get across in a lot of people's minds. Because I just had a conversation and the person ain't getting it. When I'm telling them, I'm like, yo, listen. That was a stretch for me to participate in any type of ritual like that. Because I'm not an ignorant man. I'm going to support you because I support you. So I know the love and the energy is very prevalent. So that's what I'm just walking in dealing with love and energy and support. But never undermine my presence because I don't deal with that. That for me is witchcraft. You know, when I'm like this, I don't even want to go in there. And they'll be like, oh, that's the devil. He don't want to step in here. I don't want to be in a situation in my passing where there's a group of my people sending me off under the auspice of the same God that the slave master prayed to. The same God that empowered him. Because if he prayed to God and I prayed to God and I'm the one that was a slave and he's the one that was the slave master, then guess what? It stands to reason his God is more powerful. It stands to reason his God is more effective. That's what it tells me. You feel what I'm saying? It's telling me off GP that if the slave master's God and the slave's God is the same God, then God favored one of them over the other. And it sure as hell wasn't me. You know what I'm saying? So the first reality check is we need to switch up gods. Switch up books and everything. Because I can't pray to the one you deal with. Not by far. Not by a long shot. Awakened Queen, thank you so much for your love and your support. I appreciate it. And now we're going to talk about emotions. We're going to talk about emotions. I think I'm going to do that on the Instagram post today. Now we're going to talk about emotions. And Hold on. And so when we talk about emotions, the reality is emotions, when you're emotional, you got to stay productive. It doesn't matter if you're learning a new language or you're learning some mathematics. Study something that's challenging when you're overly emotional so you don't get consumed by the thoughts that are negative. You can put it right on the table. What is that? Hold on, y'all. You know what? Wrap it up for me real quick. Can you just let them see face?
No.
All right, hold on, y'all.
I look crazy.
Hold on, y'all. Hold on. Please don't let go. I have to bite into the sandwich out of respect. The hood. Going to the hood. Utica or something. Kel. Hold on, y'all. Pardon me, killing avocado. I didn't know she was working on something. Peace, Nephat. Had a lot of fun yesterday building. It was all on. I'm on that side. I ain't forget about you. I didn't forget about you at all. You almost got blocked yesterday. But all jokes aside, thank you, sister, for listening. So emotions is what we talking about, right? Be mindful of emotions, because emotions is our greatest hindrance as a community. It's what makes us do things prematurely, say things prematurely, and in turn causes chaos on behalf of men and women. And what I'm telling y'all is this: you don't have to be subject to responding to your emotions exclusively as a male or exclusively as a female. Get outside of that. Get outside of that whole thing. You know? And the brothers with the effeminate natures, you ain't helping much. And then the sisters who are overly aggressive, masculine to a point, and their approach towards emotion. It's like, it's all right to be a female. You don't have to feel insecure if you be a female. It's all right. What I'm telling you is you gotta be productive when it comes to emotions. You gotta be productive. You gotta be productive. Because emotions coupled with a lack of productivity is a recipe for poverty. I'll say it again. Emotions coupled with a lack of productivity is a recipe for poverty. See, I lost somebody recently. But even though I lost somebody, and it's devastating, I'm really affected by it. But at the end of the day, I still have to work. I still have to grind. And in fact, I'm gonna work that much more hard because my work becomes a form of meditation. I'm gonna say it again because I still have to work at the end of the day. I still have to work at the end of the day. So, emotions coupled with a lack of productivity equals poverty. We can't be so emotional that we start getting lazy and we stop doing our work. We stop putting in pain. We got to put in work. And in fact, you can use that crisis as the impetus for you to be driven more towards your work, because your work then becomes a form of meditation. It creates an opportunity for you to be able to focus. Hold on real quick, fam. Okay, back. Yeah, I'm in Brooklyn. I'm in Brooklyn. But yeah, that's what it is, people. That's what it is. All day, for real. What if you're working and still depressed? It depends what type of work you're dealing with. If you're doing the type of work that you love doing, it's a form of meditation. If you don't love the type of work you do, that's a different type of work I'm not really talking about. I'm talking about something you love to do. And you gotta buckle down, lock in. Because what's gonna make you more depressed is the fact you can't cover your bills, and your inactivity is gonna hinder you when you finally come out for air from your depression, and you're gonna go back into depression twofold. You can't afford to get deep in the hole like that. You can't afford to. You cannot afford to get so deep into the rabbit hole that you can't come out because you've been investing too much time and energy into emotion. You know, oftentimes, sisters, you're guilty of this. You get so emotional, I don't want to talk to you no more. How you know that the person that you don't want to talk to no more is going to be around the next hour or two? We can't waste time like that in our community. We got to buckle down, think about some things a little bit. But yo, don't let these problems drag. Don't procrastinate when it comes to being able to just solve the problem. Deal with it head on. You ain't gonna solve everything all at one moment most times. Open up lines of communication, stick and move. Say a couple things, be progressive, step out of it, and pick it back up again later. Well, the reality is, this is existence. You don't got time to be wasting. And this is what we learned in our doctrine. But the problem is now, if you're dealing with people who are absent of that culture, if you're dealing with people who only deal with European cultures, if you're dealing with people who are just going with the fads, with your Judaism and Christianity and your Islams and all this other stuff, and then you start talking to them about ma'at, you start talking to them about balance, start talking to them about law and order, understanding that Isfet is just as much a part of ma'at. Isfet is chaos, and chaos is still part of the natural order of things. Chaos is a part of that which brings balance, because before you can have balance, you have to have Isfet. If you look at the scales is going to tilt. Even if you put the same weight on one side of the scale as the next, you're going to constantly see that conflict. It doesn't matter if you put the same amount of weight on one side of the scale as the other. It doesn't just automatically get equal on both sides. You have to still go through some Isfet. You have to have the patience to endure before it can be balanced. You feel what I'm saying? This is real talk. And I'm gonna tell you this. Some of us like depression, so we have the right to be sloppy. Some of us like to ride the damn depression horse, so we don't gotta do no work, and so we don't have to be honorable with our friends and family, because we can just tell our friends and family, oh man, why you did this? You know I'm sad? You know I'm feeling this way because I'm down? That's what we do. That's what we do. We like to have an excuse to not do no work and not to be courteous. So now I got the right to walk around here with this attitude, because after all, such and such just happened.
Watch the man, sorry.
It's all right. He don't owe me no apology. That's a fact. So a lot of people, they pride themselves in being depressed. Word up. They pride themselves in being depressed. And the reason why they pride themselves in being depressed is because they get to take some time off from being positive. You dig what I'm saying? That's what it is, yo. Do I believe, Sigmund Mason said, do I believe people when they blame the devil for bad decisions and depression? I don't believe no damn devil. But what I can say is, people can be so overly consumed by negative thoughts that those negative thoughts possess them, and that is to say that those negative thoughts control them. A lot of people are controlled by negative thoughts because they've given into it for so long. People have given into negative thoughts and ideas for so long that that's what motivates them. That becomes the force that moves them. And so that would be the devil, figuratively speaking. The inability to shake yourself from negative thoughts and ideas. The acquisition of negative thoughts can make you become a negative entity. And then you'll grow in conformity to that negative vibe because you'll say to yourself, you know what? Hey, you'll contemplate, let's say this, you'll be so self-nourished and so self-deceptive that you'll contemplate that all your negativity is for the benefit of everybody else. And what this merely means is that even when you're wrong, you'll say that you was right in being wrong because somebody else was wrong, and therefore that's why your wrong was right. Like, this is the kind of foolishness that people come up with. You know, devil just really means false accuser. And that's part of the negativity, falsely accusing people of things they didn't do. But when we get to the energetic aspect of it, it's just a person being overly consumed by negativity. A person that conforms to a disagreeable construct as far as energy is concerned. That's all that is. And we fall for it all the time. We fall for it all the time. What do I make of spiritual manifestations in the church? I don't give the church no damn credit. Why I gotta give them credit? We physical people we spiritual beings having a physical experience. So anywhere a spiritual people go, you likely to bear witness to some form of spirituality. So I don't accredit the church unless the church was here before the spirit. But if the spirit was here before the church and man has the spirit, then I'm not going to accredit no institution for the spiritual becomings of anything that's transpiring. I'm not going to accredit a church for that which transpires in the form of spirituality. I'm going to accredit the people who have the spirit for the spirituality. See, so whether Garvey was a Catholic, Elijah Muhammad was a Muslim, Martin Luther King was a Christian, they all believed in God and they all were great men. But the reality is they were great because they were great. They wasn't great because of their religion. They found something that was becoming to them as far as them being able to read, write, study, and assimilate process based on their edification, based on their upbringing, based on their community, based on what information was accessible to them. We find that. But it is the spirit that drove those people. They energetically and intuitively wanted more for their people because that's the type of people they really are. So they use whatever they can use information-wise as a catalyst. But the credit goes to those men, not to the religions. And that's where we get it twisted all the time. Give those men the credit for being great. Because if they was raised on any other principles that suggested good things, the good in them saw the good in those scriptures. Because if that was the case, if people just turn good because they read a scripture, then everybody that has a scripture would be good. But we see good and bad people of every community. Why? Because you have to have something in you that really is that divine spark of consciousness that encourages you to take things to the next level. Do you believe in the afterlife? Kong Mac says, do you believe in the afterlife? Not like any of the religions, of course, but of your own beliefs. Well, I tell you this. I know life after here exists because I confide in the law of thermodynamics and the set form of conservation that energy cannot be destroyed. So the energy that's responsible for our existence right now could only take new form, but it's not going to be destroyed. So this means that you can't add to all, because if you did, where would you get it from? You can't take from all, because if you did, where would you place it? You see? All is in all. So having understood that, in correlation with the law of thermodynamics and the set form of conservation, it stands to reason what? That we just transition in forms. So we are only talking about the death of this physical presence and the perpetuation of the very energy. The goal, though, is to maintain consciousness, and that's what our Remetu. That's what the Remetu, that's what the ancient Egyptians were all about. Okay, so yes, I definitely confide in life after here. And definitely not based on the religious aspect or element of things. Okay? Peace to St. Louis family tuning in. Peace to y'all. We're in Brooklyn. Certainly a different part of Brooklyn. This is Canarsie. I don't really be in Canarsie like that. I'm in Canarsie right now. See that? Avenue N and 56, East 56th Street. Just taking a stroll, enjoying myself. But I had these thoughts on my mind about emotions and death. Don't let your emotions overcome you. Don't let yourself be overwhelmed by them. Don't get so emotional you stop working. Don't get so emotional you trick yourself into saying, I don't want to talk to the person that I should be talking to. Makes no sense. Makes no sense whatsoever. Take the time out to come to terms with the fact that you all have very short periods of time to exist on this planet. Make use of it. Don't spend your time being upset on this planet. Produce some work. Create a legacy so that when it's all said and done, create a legacy so that when it's all said and done, you can say, you know what? You can say, you know what? I may not exist forever, but I left something here that will. All right? That's how you do that. That's exactly how you do that. You know, leave something here so other people can benefit from it. So I like to thank y'all because you guys put me in a nice, peaceful state of mind, just being able to connect with you, speak truth to power. Gotta thank you all for that. Remember, the goal is to retain, maintain, sustain your consciousness hereafter. That's the goal. That is the goal. Will you give my mixtape to Jesus for me? Son, it's funny. That's presuming he existed, so I can't help you with that. I'd be lying to you if I tell you that. Word. You appreciate it too, sister. That's Siobhan. Appreciate you too. He does exist, man. I ain't mad at you. Tell him come see me so I can spread the good word that Jesus exists. I only be hearing hearsay. I ain't never seen him direct. I know my black woman that made me a sandwich exists. That's what I'm rolling with right now. Facts. Word up. Nah, it's all good. I appreciate y'all. It ain't just me sharing the wisdom. Y'all create the vessel for the information to come through by just being a listening ear. So I appreciate the fact that I could turn this on and I could fellowship with you all. I could build with you all. But emotions and death. I mean, your emotions can lead to your exit out of here prematurely. It's not how do I think maintaining consciousness hereafter is done. You got the blueprints. You got the Amduat. You got the Book of Gates. You got the Theban Ascension. You got the Pockets of Shipamawut. You got the Pere Emheru. Pere Emheru. You got all of that. That gives you a clear outline of how to maintain consciousness hereafter. It's deep. It's real out here. Ain't nothing. Glad to be interrupted.
Just want to say peace, King.
Man, thanks for listening, brother. I appreciate that. Look at the king right here. Thanks, brother.
Shout out brother Polight. You know what I mean? I'm
Man.
glad to see you in my hood.
Word, word. All right.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm just walking, strolling and shit. Just on live, just connecting with the people. Hoping I bump into good people like you, keeping in tune.
Yo, it's good to see you out here, bro.
Man, thanks.
You don't even know. Feels my spirit right now to see you so close.
That's what we talking about. That's what we talking about.
Yo, 2 salutes.
Man, thank you, G. Appreciate you, God.
All right, King. Good to see you,
Word,
bro.
word. Word. Yeah, so you know. That's how it is, man. And you know, people still telling themselves I be making this stuff up. It's just the love everywhere I go. I don't be in no Canarsie. I'm a fish out of water over here. These are not my grounds as far as growing up or hood relativity is. However, these are my grounds as a conscious activist, as a man who's spreading the good word. I'm good everywhere because of the positivity I invoke. So yeah, man, those are the texts. Those are the eschatological and cosmogonical corpuses that you need to get a hold of that gives you the blueprint, the black print of how to maintain or sustain that consciousness. It's real talk. Real talk. All facts. Salute to your grandmother who made it to 96 years. Salute to her. That's a heck of a long time to go around the sun in this day and time. She is with the ancestors, believe that. Peace to Matthew. Celebrate her leaving, not mourn her loss. Stop mourning the loss of your family because they actually exhibiting life. Neighborhood is new to me, I'm just looking around. Yeah, I like the Caribbean vibe though. Seems like there's a good amount of Caribbean energy in Canarsie. I'm with that. Word, I'm definitely with that. Yeah. So I'm gonna get at you, good brothers and sisters. How you deal with heartbreak. Man, you only get 4 heartbreaks in one life. That's a fact, and we talk about that another time. You only get 4 heartbreaks in one life. Ain't that a conversation? Don't get it broken 4 times in one lifetime. It's done. You might as well wait till the next existence. That's a fact. But we'll talk about that at another time. That's kind of wild that you brought that up. That's a whole different lesson. That's why I'm not even going to deal with that right now. That's a whole different lesson. Don't get to 4. Or you're on your 4th one. You gotta value your life and not get caught up in the heartbreak factor. Get your heart broken 4 times. You're an empty shell. I would say it's almost irreparable. I always leave room for possibility. But the chambers of your heart is broken up in 4. And when you deal with heartbreak, man, something devastating truly happens to the chambers in your heart. It changes your systole and your diastole of the heart. It really throws you off. Remember, your heart is connected to your brain as well. Yeah. We'll talk on the astral plane and all of that. Y'all ready to go? Y'all ready to get busy, man? I gotta respect what wifey did when she made me that sandwich. So I'm gonna connect with y'all. I'll head over there and get this sandwich, you know, and keep it moving. Still making our runs in BK, checking all sorts of family. So I'm connecting with her GT family right now, making that work. Just keep it going. Salute. Peace. Love you all. That's a whole fact. Y'all know what to do for mentorship and consultations. BrotherPolight45@gmail.com. Peace. Peace to the guards.